Here in part 2 on our discussion of secession, we hear from Ron Paul as he explains the issue of secession very succinctly.
Congressman Ron Paul represents Texas' 14th district. There's a story from Reuters that says 7 states qualify for secession. Response from White House. Citizens from more than 40 states have filed petitions with the White House seeking to secede from the Union. And by Wednesday, 7 states had gathered enough signatures to qualify for a response to the largely symbolic protest. This story has prompted a couple of questions from our audience. We've got one from Facebook. Norman wants to know whether you support the secessionist movement, and Paul on Twitter says Texas leads that charge to peacefully leave the U.S. federal government. Is it treason?
Well, I don't call for secession, but I call for the principle of secession being recognized. The founders believed in it. There's no prohibition in the Constitution against secession. They all understood that they were coming together, and if they're voluntarily coming together, they can voluntarily leave anytime they want. And that, they were protected with that belief with the 10th Amendment. But now people are said that, oh, these people have to be put on a list, that they're saying that there should be a right of secession, and they want to put them on a list that they're committing treason, put in prison, or thrown out of the country. What about the First Amendment? So no, the principle of secession is very important. Not so much for the purpose of seceding, but the purpose of saying to the federal government, if you mistreat us, that's what we might consider. So I don't think anybody's serious about that happening soon or anything else. But if you just had that principle, that nullification is the same thing. What if the states could nullify the law? Look how wonderful it would have been to solve the problem of Obamacare if the states could just nullify the thing and get out of it. And so nullification and secession should always be there. The New England states in the early part of the 19th century talked about secession. Nobody condemned them for it. Secession is what we did when we left England. We seceded from England. It was a wonderful thing. And nobody complained about the secession of the Eastern Bloc nations seceding and getting out of the communist bloc. So, no, this whole idea, the hysteria in opposition and condemning these people as being un-American because they even talk about secession, because they talk about it doesn't mean that they're leading the charge. I'm sure there are people who would like to do that. But my position is that the principle of secession should always be there. If it had been there, along with nullification, believe me, this federal government would be not the size it is today.
The good doctor is still a rock star. Next, in part 3, the part I think you'll enjoy the most, calling a spade a spade. Understanding the mentality of those who think suggesting secession or acting upon your desire for it is evil.